like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. Well, we've already been talking a lot of racing. That's why we're about a minute shy of getting on time.
Shit.
Oh, goodness. You haven't even got signed in yet, have you? Oh,
I have. Joe's not.
Joe, you got a Facebook account?
Yeah. Let me
Go ahead and
log
sign
on
in
here.
there.
How
and
do I
go
work
to-
it?
Let's to the
Where's my
Let's Talk
internet
Racing
thing?
and
What is it, a Mac? What am I doing here?
You got Google. I don't know what you got him signed in on.
I don't know. I don't have him signed in on nothing. I couldn't find
I'm
out.
not.
That's what I
Give
was
me an
trying to ask
internet
you.
something here.
Doc, you're not the one ready there.
Is there a
Hey.
PC guy in the house?
Yeah. Go down and hit start.
Hit start. I hit start. Oh no, I missed start.
Is that what it was?
I missed
like in
a
the
gear,
race?
alright?
He missed a gear. Dumped himself already.
Okay.
That's the
can
one
figure
thing
it
I
out.
didn't do. I didn't spin out and I didn't miss a gear Saturday.
I can figure it out. I'm on Ustream. What am I looking for here?
Just go to Facebook. Just wipe that out. That actually has a webcam in there. We could have broadcast you directly out at the same time.
Oh, good close-ups. Yeah, like we need that.
Yeah, really.
We want people to join us, not leave.
Yeah, we don't want to scare them off.
Yeah.
Probably have a couple of broken cameras by the end of the night.
I got good high quality stuff. Just less items now. Oh, there with your buddy.
Who?
Oh, buddy, what do we got?
Macy's.
Ah, Mickey is in the house.
That's it.
Let me get Facebook here. What am I doing?
You haven't seen Back to the Future.
All right, now I got the volume on too. Dude, either me or this computer's special. It's probably me.
With hours of all new
Oh, goodness.
all Back to the Future.
Oh, let it play.
Remember on Blu-ray October 26th.
I closed. I can't hear this. This
He
one.
knows how to do it. On
This one looks a little bit Internet Explorer.
All right.
See, I know this. I've seen this before. It looks
Okay.
familiar.
Here, lift that one up. I'll slide this one over. Or either way. Here,
I'll just put it on top.
grab that.
There. This is high-tech PC at work right here. The PC
I tell you.
doctors. Figure out how to make it start. So welcome to the modified world.
Thank you.
How was
Thank
your
you.
first event?
Eventful.
Eventful, wasn't it? It was like an Enduro. How long was the race? Did anybody actually get the time on that? 'Cause
I
that's
think it was
the
about an
longest-
hour and a half.
Yeah, I was in there a
Yeah,
long time.
We were out there under that caution, and I'm just like you. It was home. And the bad part about it is that Thomas had a set of cold plugs in the car.
Right.
So the motor would cool down a little bit, and then all of a sudden on the starts for about the first, well, that long caution, it took about 10 laps.
It'd chug along.
It would miss, crack, fire, foul plugs up, and finally when I'd get them cleared up, and I didn't know which lap or which part of the lap it was going to clear up, then I could take off. You know.
Did you try and clear it out on a caution? Just push the
Oh,
clutch in.
yeah,
Yeah,
front
you
stretch,
know that. You've been
back
around.
stretch.
Trying to unload that sucker quite a bit.
Oh man, and it just would not unload. Which, well, I mean, it wasn't. It was pretty neat. I wasn't used to the seat. Thomas is a really tall guy, so I had my feet stretched all the way out.
Driving Daddy's car.
You know what? Actually, the steering wheel was comfortable. It was just driving Daddy's car. Had my feet all the way out. But it was fun. It was quite interesting. You leaders, you and Kyle Wood and I think two other guys went around me, and I fell in behind you for about 4 or 5 laps, and could stay with you. I just kind of stayed in my own little world. Got laps, you know. Hey Doc, where does he go now to get into the
I'm on my profile if anybody's looking, and everything's blue. What am I doing?
He put a page.
Oh, now I gotta find
Let's
stuff?
Talk Racing
Okay.
tonight at 7.
Do you see it? Oh, I can't work this damn. I hate these little finger pads on the laptop. Oh, I'm all thumbs. Where is it?
When did you put it on there?
See, this is all because I was late.
Yes.
This should all been set up hours ago.
Yeah, you missed the driver's meeting, so
It's
you get to go
it's
to
all
the
my fault. I got to
field.
sit in the back. After the show, they gave me the dunce cap and we sit in the corner for an hour. Put me in timeout.
apps.facebook.com/clobby/chat FB page ID.
Oh yeah, I was gonna find that.
I posted it on your page.
Look, I can find my page. I'm a race car guy, not a
Oh, geez.
computer bad.
Computer bad.
Computer bad.
But no,
Ask my girlfriend what happened to my last laptop. It had an unfortunate accident. I got tired of looking at the hourglass. I'm still finding keys in the carpet. We're gonna bring it to PC doctors as soon as it gets out of the body shop. Will fiberglass work?
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, I'm all frustrated.
But no, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I pretty much stayed out of trouble.
Hey, you look like you're running good. You're a good line,
So, yeah, it was.
And
it
the
was
wheels were
unique.
still on it, which puts you in the upper half of the field at the end of the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I finished 10 out of 18. I was really happy.
Yeah.
So,
Here we go. Okay. Good.
and you were right about the 0 too.
Oh, I saw when I was coming up to put you guys a lap down. I saw it. You stuck your nose in him a half dozen times. He kept coming down, and I told you, he's Wayne's a great guy. I like it, but
He did it too.
I like him, but man, he's tough. He's tough on the bottom. You get underneath him, there's going to be contact.
And he did it there at the last couple of laps. And I finally just stuck it down in there hard enough, and I knew I was going down on the flat, and I just went down on the flat, and as soon as I could, he still beat me at the line. But yeah,
the flat's
was
not bad. You got to watch the transition.
Yeah.
Particularly coming off a 4 because you get that drainage gully,
Yep.
which is like a jump. You got to Evel Knievel it
Yeah.
at times, and it don't.
We were up and high enough where I didn't have to Evel Knievel it, but it kicked it sideways, and I just stayed on it. And
Yeah, well, that's when you get in
You
trouble.
know.
When you correct and lift, it's when the bad things happen. Yeah.
the hardest thing about it, and I think I told you about this too that day, was the steering quickener.
Oh yeah, if you're not used to that.
Man, I tell you, but I liked it once I got used to it. You know.
Yeah,
then you know,
I have one in Aftershocks cars. It's I like the steering quickener. I use a small wheel in the car even too. It's almost like a sports
Yeah.
car feel, or as Jimmy Humler calls it, it's a go kart with a V8.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, let me tell you. But there was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with it.
I'm a rookie with a yellow stripe on my PC. Yeah,
He definitely got that.
That's
I
me.
told you missed the driver's meeting. You go to the rear
I gotta
of the
start.
field.
I gotta start in the back.
Here's the last up top to get started up.
Who
Hey,
do we got
Sloan,
here?
how you doing?
How you doing, Dennis? What else we got? You got somebody on the phone?
Is this Sloan Henderson?
It is.
Hi, Sloan. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Sloan is a late model driver in Ohio, right?
Yeah, you guys are correct.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior at Dink Christian, and I started out racing in quarter midgets, then I moved up into Bandoleros and Legend cars, and then I've been racing the NASCAR Wheel Late Model Series for about 2 years, and this year was a very successful season. Greenper Landscaping set 2 track records, and we got 2 wins and 20 top 5 finishes, so it was a pretty good season.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good season.
Doc told me to ask you, and I got to stop eating these things. Get them over there.
Okay, I'll put them over here. Your flag. No more M&Ms for you.
No more M&Ms for me. Where were you last week?
Actually, I just got home like 2 minutes ago. I've been in North Carolina. On Friday we left, and on Saturday we went to the Sprint Cup race, and I was very blessed to have NASCAR Illustrated invite me up in their suite, so I got to go into their little suite and got to watch the race from there, and got to meet some really cool people up there, and maybe some things could happen from meeting those people. And then I also got to meet Mr. Roush's. It's Roush of Mr. Jack Roush's nephew and stuff, and we're going to work with him for sponsorship, so that was really cool. And we also got to go to the NASCAR Drive for Diversity Combine, and we tested at the Motor Mile racetrack, and that was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. It was just such a great experience going up there again. And then this morning, I had a meeting with Kevin Harvick's team, and it went pretty successful. I think they liked me and everything, and they took me on a tour around the shop, so hopefully things will work out. And then we did the 7-hour drive home.
So you've been a busy little beaver this weekend.
Yeah, I haven't had any time to rest, but that's a part of a racer's life.
How do you, now? You said you started out in quarter midgets. Was your dad a racer? You know, how did this whole thing start?
No, I'm actually a first generation race car driver. I used to show horses, and unfortunately, I had a bad accident with my horse, and he almost killed me. So my dad said that I couldn't do anything with horses anymore. And my brother just started out in quarter midgets, like as a little hobby thing or whatnot. And my dad kind of when I was littler and stuff, to be honest with you, I thought like NASCAR was really stupid. I thought you went around a circle and you turn left, and never really got the point of it. So I was never really interested in, trying to race or whatnot. But my dad, he talked into it, and I fell in love with it, and I'll start from there.
And this is your second year in late models, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you had a pretty good season. I kind of kept up with you on Facebook a little bit. It sounds like you had a pretty good season.
Yeah, it was a really, really great season. We got 2 track records, and then we also got 2 wins and 20 top 5 finishes. So, I mean, I only got 1 wreck, and it was unavoidable, and that was with the first race of the season. So it was just a really great season. Greenfield Landscaping, thanks for sponsoring me this season, and then all the guys, they just worked super hard. I have a great crew.
Yeah. Now,
it was a lot of fun.
and I'm going to get back to this a little bit, but tell us about this combine that you went to. What's this combine all about?
Well, it's called the Drive for Diversity Combine. You're basically trying out for the Revolution Racing team. It's for minorities and female race car drivers. There was 37 that got selected, but I believe only 35 showed up. So, the first day we went and we all met at Revolution Racing, and we did like a fitness test, and then we also did some iRacing stuff, and they kind of just everyone to get a connection with each other, get to know each other type of ordeal. And then on Monday, that was on Sunday, and then on Monday we went to Motor Mile Speedway, and each driver got a test in a late model, and they had 5 laps, and then to get to familiarize themselves with the race car, and then they had 20 laps to, show what the people had or whatnot, or show what they had, sorry. And at the end of the day, they asked about 15 or 16 race car drivers to go back and test again, and I was lucky enough to be one that got selected. So we did that again, and it was just a very, very fun experience and everything. So hopefully the car I tested in wasn't the greatest with the setup and everything, but it was just a great opportunity, and I was really consistent, and I think I held some pretty good lap times. I was just very consistent. I was like 100 off each lap, so hopefully they'll take that in consideration and whatnot. And we also got a test with some media, and that was a great experience. The person that I interacted with and got to know, she really taught me some key things that I didn't know about interviewing and whatnot, so that really helped. So it was a great experience overall.
Well, good. It sounds like you had a really great time down there then.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast. It definitely was. And we got, it was just a really, really neat experience going to a sprint race and being up in the suite and whatnot. That was really cool. And then meeting with people at Kevin Harvick, that was really exciting. And then testing for the Revolution Racing, it was just an awesome weekend.
Did you get to meet Kevin and Deanna? Or Dina? Delana?
I did. We talked to the guy that was right below them, and he was in a meeting with the crew chiefs and whatnot, so he couldn't talk to me, but we were supposed to meet him, but he was in the meeting. But it was just really neat to go in their shop and everything, and it was just really neat how they operate everything. Like, they have their own body shop and chassis shop and wiring shop. It was just really, really neat.
So what's the plans here? Are you planning on staying in late model next year and still trying to get something going down in the NASCAR world?
Yeah, well, the plan's not to race in the NASCAR Wheel and Late Model Series again. We have a career path set in mind for me that and we've been able to follow it to a T, but the next step hopefully would be the Camping World Truck Series. That's why we were down at Kevin Harvick talking to them. And then why we also tested for Revolution Racing is they have a strong Canyon East team, and we're very interested in maybe possibly racing Canyon East Series next year, so that's why we've tried out for that. Nothing set in stone what I'm going to do next year, so hopefully those are the 2 main series that I'll probably race in, and then I'm also considering ARCA, so we'll see.
ARCA wouldn't be bad. But the late model you're doing, that's not too bad of a program up there. Midwest Ohio, I mean, there's some good racetracks up there.
Oh yeah, there's some very tough racetracks up here, like Kilkerry and Columbus Motor Speedway. They're just very different than the type of racetracks that you normally race at. So it really taught me how to, pass people on a harder racetrack and race on a harder racetrack. And I was very blessed to get both the 2 track records at Kilkerry and Columbus Motor Speedway. So, I mean, it really taught me a lot racing up here and racing with people that have been racing for 20 or 30 years. But, I mean, you just learn so much from veteran racers, and it was definitely a great experience racing the Green Pro Landscaping car. It was a great season.
Now, part of your stuff that you got to figure out what you're doing next year is also going to do this. Depends on what happens from the combine, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Depending on how things happen from the combine, from the Drive for Diversity from the past weekend, is that going to affect also what you might be doing?
Yeah, hopefully we can get in the Ken and East series, and what we're maybe thinking is hopefully I'll be able to be racing either ARCA or Camping World Trucks, and then also the Can-Am series, because they're both smaller schedules or whatnot, so I can get a whole lot of seat time in different cars and then also different racetracks. So that would be the goal, but we won't hear anything for about 4 weeks from Revolution Racing on what drivers they select. So I mean, it's caught up in the air right now.
Yeah, we're going to have one of the other girls that was at the combine that's going to be on here also later on. You know Amanda Lynch?
What's her name?
Amanda Lynch.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, she's going to be calling in after a little while here herself.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. She's really nice.
Well, good. Do what? You got to watch. These guys are also sitting here playing in the chat room, too. So they sometimes forget they're supposed to be talking to you.
It's like a 3D thing. I can't type and talk, and I can't even... We had to take the M&Ms away from Matt because he couldn't do all the same. I had to spit my gum out outside. You get confused like that.
We're race car drivers. We don't do this professionally, so you got to take certain things away from us.
Oh, that's great.
What's odd is you said you were a show rider. Is that correct?
Sort of. I showed horses and whatnot. I think I competed in the Western Series, or I don't even know what it was called. It's been so long ago. But
you may actually have met my team owner, one of the teams I drive for, Vicky Castigren, who owns Aftershock Motorsports. She owns the Hyperion Stud, which is the primary sponsor on our 93 car. And she keeps trying to get me on a horse. And I did manage to get her in a race car at a VIR and take her for a couple of laps, and she did some driving herself, and she's a gearhead. She likes the cars. But I'm not getting on the horse simply because there's no brake, there's no control stick, handlebars, steering wheels. It's kind of like driving a broken race car. It's got a mind of its own.
Well, a friend once told me the worst thing about it is that you don't have brakes.
Yeah.
You can't control them brakes on a horse.
You can't stop it. It turns on its own. It's like having a bad Heim joint or something in the front end.
Yeah, it's going to go whatever the hell it wants.
And if I'm jumping anything in a race car, I'm having a bad day.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say so.
But yeah, no, you take your lumps and bumps in that sport. Yeah, I tried to get her in a race car as well. It's fun. She's a great owner, great person to work for.
Oh yeah, I would say. I mean, I guess you're very lucky to have that opportunity and whatnot. So, sounds like a good race team.
Yeah, well, she's a great person to work for. I was actually to tell you the story of how I was almost out of racing for the umpteenth time.
Okay.
I was on my last dollar at my last race in my old hunk of junk dirt car, and I had met Vicky, and she was like, "Yeah, I want to go to a race." So she came out to a race, and I ran. I was like the leader of the have-nots.
Yeah.
Running about ninth in front of like all the axe murderers, like Langley Saturday night.
Like Langley Saturday.
Yeah, so I was kind of running scared in that race as well, and the car broke.
Like me.
I broke something in the suspension. I got the car stopped, and the wrecker came over and did 3 times more damage than the actual breakage did.
Oh yeah, those wreckers, eh?
But when they finally towed me back in, she was hooked and wanted to buy race cars and teams and everything else, and we found a modified team, and here we are 4 years later, 2 championships.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's been quite the success.
You got questions in there for
Oh, I got to stick to cars, stay off horses. Trust me, absolutely, Kim. The horse, there's no brakes, like you said, Matt. You can't stop.
You
them.
can't stop them.
You yell whoa all you want. If it don't want to
If it don't
whoa,
wanna
you
go,
don't. You ain't gonna whoa. And they bite.
They do that.
I mean, I've got some dusted knuckles and a
They
couple
kick,
lumps and bumps
too.
for race cars, but
get around the back end
But
side of one, you
I-
might get kicked.
I've never walked up to check the stagger on my race car and been kicked in the chest. So.
Yep. Yeah.
And when you break them, you can't weld new legs on them. You know?
and both my daughters were into horses, and I've rode too. So, and I always said that to Candace that if it breaks, we got to go fix it now. If it's a race car, I can leave it in the garage.
Yeah, you put it in the garage, it don't eat anymore.
It's all right. She never understood that. So.
They're nice. They're beautiful animals and they're nice to pet.
Yeah.
As long as they let you.
The
Much
last
bigger than I am, and I respect that.
the last 3 times I rode, I got hurt in one way, shape, or form. One part we won't talk about that I got hurt. Another part, I got my foot broke because I got stepped on. And what was the other one? I broke a knee, or I fractured a kneecap.
That hurts.
And
I've done that. That
I
hurts.
said, okay, I'm done. I'm getting too old for this. I'll go back to race cars.
Well, race cars are
At least
safe.
you got,
Yeah, they're
at least you got
safe.
some padding and rolling.
You think they've been riding horses since the caveman. You think somebody put a seatbelt or a brake? Even
Well, there is a brake. That's that little thing
Well-
that sticks out, and if the horse stops, you brake real quick.
tuck and roll. I don't know.
when my girls were little, they used to have, and Sloan, you might remember these. You're probably in that age. They had Velcro that used to put around your calves. Do you remember that for barrel racing? And you had a Velcro pad that sat on it, and that was your seatbelt. It used to hold you in the saddle.
Well, the type I was showing I did,
Yeah.
like I had, can't remember what it's called anymore, but the reins and whatnot, and you had to like back them up, like you were on the ground with them, and you had to walk them and like make sure their feet were straight and do like little tricks with them, and a judge would come by and look at your horse. I didn't even know what to see. I didn't actually like ride them, but I like showed them. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact term, but I mean.
Yeah, you did. You did halter and
Yeah, like I.
showmanship.
Yeah, showmanship.
Yep.
Sorry, it's been so long. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. It's been a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Sloan, we're going to let you go. Unless you want to stick around and just chat, I'm going to kind of Fred and I,
Fred and I.
Fred.
Sorry.
Am I Fred now? Who's Fred?
Joe,
I'll be
Joe,
Fred.
and, Joe
I've been
and I are
called
going to
worse
talk
than
about
Fred.
this. We had a really unique weekend, I should say.
It was kind of like a chainsaw match or steel cage WWF.
It was a WWE, and then a race broke out.
Yes.
Oh.
I thought it was a WWE all the way through.
Man.
Just some of it was with race cars, some was without race cars.
At the end of it, they told me I won, but in reality, I was just running for my life for 50 laps.
And that's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. Joe and I talked about it before the race, and he said, I'm running for my life. I said, I'm staying in the back and watching, and that's what we did.
Yeah, and in the end, we were of the 10 of the 18 cars still rolling around a racetrack, and a couple of those were some pretty wounded war wagons.
Yep. So,
And
it
that's
was
not
very
even
interesting.
talking about the Super Streets race
Or fight, or...
Yeah.
Well, and that was in 2 folds. That was on pit lane
and
out front.
when the champion was crowned, he went there.
Yeah,
was
he
dancing
yanked
on
him
the
off
hood
the
and-
hood or something. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know what that's all about, and I've missed half the season, but, I've watched Randy Sample for a couple of years now, and he seems to be a class act. I've never really seen him do anybody wrong, unless maybe he did something the week I wasn't there. He seems to be a hard-charging, aggressive driver.
I think I think some of his attitude has gotten him in a little bit of trouble here lately, too. But, and I hate to say that because I do like Randy. And he's a good kid. He's a go-karter. He came out of Aunt Rhodes Kart Club and has moved up.
Many of us did, yeah.
And, they're a great family. They really are.
Right.
I think he got a little too brackish, and I think that might have helped egg the whole situation on.
Yeah, you got to. It's just unprofessional. Not even from his standpoint, but to go out there and start brawling and crashing over somebody's attitude.
That's wrong.
If I crashed everybody I didn't like,
Well,
It-
Randy did.
There'd be
there'd
nobody
be a
left
lot
on
of
the
crashed
track,
cars
yeah.
out there,
but Randy did take him out in the race.
Well, now that's true. I did see that. He
I
did do that.
I missed that
Randy
part.
did
So-
take out Chris in the race.
And Chris should be here.
Yeah, he's probably going to miss the
So
his
we'll
thing.
confront him with that.
I told him his slot is 7:45 since he's still running late.
But let's see. Robbie Davis clinched the title, which I was, and I told Robbie, and I talked to Mr. Davis Monday. I was kind of sad. Tommy Nixon broke, so there. I mean, he had
Makes it uneventful.
Yeah, it made it very uneventful. But
De-escalates the championship
yeah,
battle.
and Tommy and Robbie did work real hard all year long.
Now, I do want to reiterate. You know, you're talking about this the way stuff's not supposed to happen. Hold on. Saturday night racing is supposed to be eventful. That's what you get all your people geared up and reared up to want to see, and they wish that Cup could do that.
And that's, you know,
It's going to be eventful until somebody gets hurt, and that's where you got to start drawing the line.
Well, yeah,
It was good to see emotions. It was good to see that, but when some people start getting hurt, and like the incident with Chris Roberts and Randy Sample on the front stretch, that went a little too far.
That's too far. Absolutely.
You know, the both of them standing on the top of the car, and if they would have just stood up there and argued with each other and never laid a finger on each other,
it would have been good.
I think that would have been good. But once they grabbed each other and it went down into the stands like it was on SmackDown, that's when you got to draw the line. In my opinion.
I think he landed on Randy's mom.
He landed on the whole.
I
That was
heard
kind of
that
afterwards.
somebody innocent got taken out in that as well.
I think it was his grandmother.
And there's a fine line, because you know,
Yeah.
when you get the guy that goes out and sits in the stands and goes back to work on Monday, you know,
Yeah.
hey, what'd you do over the weekend? I went to a race and these two guys ran side by side for 50 laps. They were inches apart and it was a great race. That's scenario one. That guy's probably not going to. Oh, all right, sounds like fun. You sat out in the cold all night, watch guys go left. Yeah. Scenario two. Oh, the one guy stuffed the other guy in the wall, and then they came out and beat the heck out of each other. You know, and they landed on top of somebody's mom, and then this, that, and they were throwing stuff. Really? I need to see this, and it will make that non-race fan
Yeah.
come out
Beating and banging is fine.
for the drama. But yeah, I look at this from a different, from the other side of the fence, the other side of the coin, I guess. Where you know, I manage teams. I work on a lot of race cars. I help all the teams that I run for. You know, the money aspect of this is not a bottomless pit, and we are doing 100 and something miles an hour out there. When you start crashing like this, somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
exactly.
Even just bumping and banging over 30 years, you know, we'll start wearing on. You'll feel it in the morning. But when
My
you go
back
out there and
still
start
hurts.
jamming people in the fence and crashing the hell out of each other, you know, somebody's going to get hurt. Not to mention the significant dollar value of what the cars are. Let's break it down. A modified race pays $600 to win at Langley,
Yeah.
and you get a really cool plastic trophy.
Yeah.
In one incident, there had to be, well, Cameron Patrick's car, I think, is probably done. Rusty Wood's car is torn down. So, you know, realistically, what is there, several $1,000s just off the top of my head?
Oh, there was probably
races to
$30,000,
pay for it.
$40,000 worth of damage done, because he wasn't the only one. The 77 took major hit with
Yes.
camera.
Yes.
Okay, Rusty Wood took a hit. The 37 said he got damaged on that front stretch.
Well,
and
I saw,
Matt Sly.
Two cars. Cameron's car came off with two wreckers. The
Yeah.
33 car came off with two wreckers.
33 came off
Yeah,
two wreckers.
They tore race cars up left and right.
Yep.
There had to be at least $10,000, $15,000 worth of damage in that race.
Yeah, every bit of
Easy.
it.
Easy.
Every bit of it.
Easily. Not to mention just the standard cost of racing the car. I mean,
Yeah.
Langley's great. They do a two-tire race, so it cuts the tire bill in half. But even that, once you cut a tire down, you know, that's
Well, even with the
That's
two-tire
what,
rule,
125, 150 a tire?
The fuel and the pit passes. I mean, you know,
it's $1,000 a race.
Yeah,
Realistically, it's a $750 to $1,000 a race
Yep.
if you don't break anything.
If you don't break anything.
And when you go out there and you start tearing these cars up like that, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you win the race, you barely break even. You know, maybe if you can sell a little marble plaque off the bottom of the trophy, you might make lunch money on the way for the next day. You should drive these cars almost like vintage racers. There's no need for it. There's no reason to be tearing cars up like that. Granted, there's 18 lunatics out there doing 100+ miles an hour. Bad things are going to happen accidentally. To be doing it intentionally, it's just there's no call for it.
Well, it's good to get close, and accidents are going to happen. That's why they're called.
They do.
accidents.
They happen on the highway every day.
They happen on the highway every day. But there has to be some patience, and there has to be some respect.
Yes.
And I think
It does.
Yeah.
And it's a give and take game.
Yeah.
And especially with an open wheel modified, you need to give more than you take.
Yep.
I talk
Brad,
fast
wait.
with
I am going to.
the
Are you going to answer it on there?
Well, is the 69 a team car to the 9?
I said, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, it is. It is the
And
team
he
car.
said, and he said, guess that explains why he did while Sean was being interviewed. Joe did not do that.
No, actually, we broke the clutch on that car, and that was the team owner van in that car. You couldn't get the thing into gear and get it rolling. Another restart or two, I wouldn't have finished that race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it had come off the corner pretty good in third because it still had enough torque to spin the tires, and you had to ease into the gas. But as soon as I grabbed fourth gear, you get the big tack climb, and then it'd come back down. And every restart, it got worse and worse and worse. And then when Van drove the car off the track, because that's a 4-speed transmission in the car, but it's only got third, fourth, and reverse. So when you got a busty clutch and you're trying to get the thing rolling in third, it don't want to move.
Right.
So no, that wasn't a.
And Joe was not in that car. Van was. I know. You know.
Right, but that wasn't. Just he wasn't out there to just drown out his interview. That car was it's ailing.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
It's ailing. I didn't want to tell the crew during the race because I figured there was enough animosity going down there that we didn't need to.
Is she gone?
Sloan, yeah, she was off there the whole time.
Oh,
was
bye.
She? Bye. We didn't even get to say goodbye.
We got lost in our own world there.
There was no disrespect.
I wasn't. I know that's how it seemed, but that was not the intention. It was a just busted clutch.
There's going to be accidents, but there's also a lot of intentional stuff that goes on, and I don't think a lot of people realize it. And I saw a lot of stuff happen in front of me Saturday that I went, why did this happen?
Absolutely.
Why didn't he give that guy a little bit more room? Come on, we're going 50 laps here.
Oh, and they started in turn 1.
Yeah, and it's just like we talked about earlier. Yeah, it just...
One guy says one guy lifted, the other guy says the other guy took it. You know what? It didn't start in turn 1. It started in April.
And why?
And this goes back to the discussion we were having earlier. It started in April.
Yep.
I don't know who started it. I don't care. Nobody's right. And realistically, it was like we were talking about with baseball. If there's no penalty for doing the wrong thing, well, why sit there and wait and try to hit a pitch when you could just hit the pitcher with the bat and then go stand on first base?
Yep.
If there's no penalty for it, you get to first base every time.
Yep.
So if there's no penalty for knocking the other guy out of the way or doing him wrong, there was, to my knowledge, this has gone on all season. I missed part of the season because I ran the tour.
Right.
But there were no penalties, there were no fines, there were no points removed. I don't even know if there was a talking to.
Do you think this is kind of, and this has been going on a lot of tracks, it's kind of the NASCAR thought of have at it, boys? Do you think? I think some of the short tracks are starting to go back to that. I really do.
Even NASCAR was talking about the beginning of last season or beginning of this season, putting it more in the driver's hands.
Right.
And what exactly does that mean? Go out and kill each other? Maybe at that level where you've got that kind of sponsorship and backing, it pays because the car that's upside down and flying through the grandstands gets great coverage and they can justify that. But at this level of racing, it's going to kill the car counts. It's going to kill the fields because you're just tearing race cars up that guys they simply can't afford to fix.
On the short track level, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. What's the most viewed clip all year out of NASCAR, out of Cup?
It's probably what's his face flying backwards into the grandstands. Keselowski, yeah.
People want to see that.
All right, let's finish Sloan up. Since she
Oh, is Sloan
Oh,
back?
you're back?
We just lost her. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My phone died.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were sitting here chatting away and thought you were joining in on us, so
Oh, sorry.
we'll let you go now because now that your phone's dead. Plug your sponsors.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to give a big thanks to the Green for Landscaping, Colgate Components, Slums Crusaders, the Christian School System, and my charities, Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then Susan D. Coleman. And just to all the guys that worked extremely hard on my race car, and my dad, and God, and everybody. I'm just very thankful for this season.
Well, we're glad to have you on here. Go get into that diversity program and give us a call back.
Alrighty.
Good luck to you. Go get them.
Okay, thanks again.
All right.
Bye.
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 I've been following her on Facebook. She does really well.
Well, I've heard the name. I need to definitely keep an eye on her.
Yeah, keep an eye on her because she's.
Sounds like she's got some talent.
What? I'm done with
We're
it
done
this
this
time.
time.
We're done. Okay? Now we're going back talking about racing. Okay.
Now, yeah, I mean, and I see, some folks seem disrespectful. What was done with the 9 car, and we are teammates. And it's a difficult situation for me because I get along with everybody out there. I mean, the only guy I had any kind of incident with this year was Robbie Babb, and we shouted, we point our fingers, and now we shake hands and we talk, and everything's good. It's a sport. There's going to be issues like that, and a situation like Saturday night. I'm a teammate with the '69 car. Van Paul owns both cars, and here I am in the middle, of a battle. My guys are right. We're parked directly between, where Sean's guys are running over and yelling, and you got Rusty's guys over there, but yelling back because there's a lot of heated tempers, and we're just trying to win the race. But now we're in the middle of a battle.
It's funny you brought that up because I was on Thomas's backup car, and the first thing when Thomas did that, and I knew Sean could come back out, I'm like, I'm in his backup car. I'm going to get pounded into the wall.
There's a bullseye on me.
Yeah, and I felt it.
Right. Well, unfortunately, I mean, I get along. I've raced with Sean for years now, and we've never had any incidents. We bump, we bang. He's got the bad end of it. I got the bad end of it. But it's been racing, and it hasn't been any issues. Same thing with Thomas. I've raced hard with Thomas. No ill will. Got a very good relationship with really everybody I race with down there, except you. I'm wondering about you.
I'm just glad, and even Amy, my spotter, said, "Good thing you went down and talked to Joe before that race and found out, what everybody was kind of feeling."
It was and it's mixed emotions. Anytime you're in a pit there where one car's in victory lane and the other one's destroyed.
Yeah.
It's a bittersweet win. It's like, yay, we won. What did we win?
Yeah, what did we win? What did you actually win? Because everything you made off that race has got to go into the other car to get fixed.
And then some.
And then some, yeah.
It's just, it's...
I think
it's a lousy situation that shouldn't exist.
Yeah. I'm glad it's over with. I'm glad Sean won the championship. I think Thomas did a really good job of running him this year. I like both guys. I really do.
I do too.
Thomas, you really can't find a better person. What started this whole thing, I will never know. Because you're going to get two sides at each end of the story.
Everybody's right in their own mind.
Exactly.
Everybody's right.
Exactly.
And the other guy's wrong.
And
that's the way all these situations
And I don't think anybody can actually pinpoint when it actually happened.
I think it started like opening night. I remember some there were like little cheap shots on the start and brake checks and things like that, and it started minor. And now it's down to the point at the end of the season where I'm going to crash you and I don't care who's going with you.
It's kind of like that telephone game.
Yeah.
Where you start by saying one thing and by the time it gets back around to you, it's that long.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, it comes down to somewhere along the line in there, the officials needed to step in and do something. I didn't even see a rolled up black flag pointed at anybody like, you, knock that off.
Yeah.
And if you let it go, it'll go. And if it's not addressed, it'll just start off on opening day next year.
And this is what's happened.
And it'll keep going. And now you start getting guys like Rusty Wood that now get involved in it. Because one guy takes the other guy out and Rusty winds up in the wall. Now he's got a beef against somebody else.
And it keeps going and going and going.
And it's only a matter of time till now you've got three guys taking each other out, and they're going to get somebody else, and before you know it, you've got our own little version of Madhouse.
Yep.
Minus the exposure and the money. Yeah.
Exactly. The TV cameras and the money are not there, but yeah.
Yeah, really.
What Thomas did, when we've just talked about it, and I don't promote
Jump in anytime you want, by the way.
Who is it?
You'll know.
Hi.
Hello.
Sean. Hey, Sean.
Congratulations on your championship.
Nope. Wrong.
Who is it?
What do you mean, who is it?
Is this Thomas?
No.
Oh, it's not Thomas.
CMG.
Oh, Mike.
Mike.
Long time no see, buddy.
Hey, bud.
Yeah, what's going on? I had to get in this conversation, man.
Well, come on. Jump in.
I think you guys need to put me on every week with a segment called The Plain Truth, Shoot from the Hip.
All right, come on.
I don't know if we're old enough for that, Mike. Don't hate, buddy. Don't hate.
As you know me, I'm going to tell the truth.
Well, what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, I tell you what. As far as the racing part of it goes, the racing probably couldn't be any better. You got a good bunch, 5 or 6 cars that run really competitive every week, and then you got Robbie Babb coming up in there running good every week.
Good to see another contender in there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and Cameron's getting better every week and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, I'm not going to take a side with either guy, but I've seen both guys do what I don't agree with. But I may be a little biased because I do sponsor the car that Joe drives, and I do sponsor the car that Rusty drives.
Mike Walton is CMG Motorsports, by the way.
One of my sponsors too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm one of Matt's sponsors too. But you know what? And the bad thing was it took one of my cars out Saturday night, and not real happy about that because we've been working on that car hard all season. It got bent up a few weeks ago, and the car's been running better, even though it is bent. And we know it's bent, but you know, if you're going to take somebody out and you want to do it intentionally, don't take somebody else's car out with you. I don't agree with what Thomas did under caution, but you know what? He only affected him and one other guy.
I was going to bring that point up too. I don't promote, and that's what I was getting ready to say. I don't promote what he did,
Right.
but at least he did it under caution, where he would not affect anybody else.
Right.
It's not right what he did, but you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, and it's and I can understand his frustrations, but I still can't condone the actions.
Exactly.
Well, can I understand? Can I understand where you came from? Can I understand where Rusty came from? Sure, they're absolutely infuriated with the situation, and it just appears that nobody's doing anything about it. So again, it goes back to my baseball scenario. If nobody's going to do anything about you hitting the pitcher with the bat, you're going to go stand on first base all day long.
Exactly. Yep.
Because there's no penalty for it. There's nothing wrong with it. It simply becomes part of the game.
The guys are going to race and they're going to do what they can get away with. I mean, and that's part of the sport. But you know, I've got to point a lot of blame on the officiating. The officials should have stepped in a long time ago. Everybody knew what was going to happen. The officials knew what was going to happen. You know, I've been told by the officials what was going to happen. Everybody knew what was going to happen this last race. Should have been, you know what? Somebody should have stepped in. And you know, what could you have done? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but
Simply putting Sean back to the field as soon as the accident happened.
Back in April, May, and June when this started happening, if you put them both on probation, one of them on probation, some type of administrative action, I think, would have stopped this.
Well, yeah, that's
Remember Days of Thunder? If you two monkeys keep screwing around and parking both of you,
there you go.
it works.
you know, it really didn't get rough to me, in my opinion. It really didn't get rough till a few weeks ago when they started taking each other out.
And that's when the points started getting close too.
Right.
That's when it started mattering.
Right. But you got to understand, Rusty had bad blood from a few months back, and Sean went down on the apron and came back into the door and turned him around and put him in the wall backwards. But Rusty had had enough of him that night. And Rusty was an innocent victim Saturday night. He didn't have anything to do with that. And he got the worst end of the deal out of everybody. And you can understand his frustration. Now, you know, would Sean do it differently next time? Probably so, because I know he probably wouldn't want to put Rusty in the wall, and I know he probably feels bad about that. But, you know, and you got to also say, Tommy's mad, and so are a lot of the other drivers, because this thing of favoritism floating around in the pit. You know, and that's been a lot of talk up and down pit road all year long, talking about the favoritism towards Sean Beluso. And, you know, whether it's happening or not, you know, a lot of guys are saying it is, and when you start getting talk like that, it's gonna have, you know, put a bad taste in people's mouth, and they're not going to put up with him. That's just going to make more incentive to beat him, you know. And the way I put it to a gentleman the other day, you know what? When you go out and race your car, Joe Scarbrough, you need to beat the other competitors on the racetrack. You shouldn't have to beat the officials too.
Well, I agree with that. Yeah.
You got a good point there.
And you know, showing up, you know, a couple days early and getting your tires before everybody else get there, you know, and having your tires sitting out when the first man in the gate goes to the shed to get his tires, and there's a lock on the door and nobody else can get in there, but there's 4 tires sitting out there from separate buildings, you know, with 48 road on them. I mean, that, you know, that word gets around, and it happens every week. So, you know, you gotta think now. This, I don't blame. This is racetrack fault.
Well, I know it didn't happen this Saturday because I was the second person in the
Oh, yes, it did too. I was told his tires were sitting there waiting.
Well, no, because I was the second person there, and that's the first place I went and turned in my ticket. And his guy that does pick his tires walked into that place and picked out his tires. I saw that. I cannot talk about any place else or any other week, but this week I know that was not the fact.
Well, you know, like I said, to me personally, I don't care what he does. But as far as the competitor goes, if I was racing in that division, I would have a bad taste in my mouth because of that. You know, and like I said, I don't care what he does, and I don't care if he wins 100 championships. I don't care what he does. All I know is a lot of the guys are talking that there's favoritism going on, and especially with his tires. So, I mean, that's why these guys are getting bad taste in their mouth, and they're not putting up with it. And so, like I said, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't like it because one of my cars got torn up.
Right.
My car, you know, and I say one of my cars, they're not mine, they're Van's cars. But
We know
your
what
name's
you mean.
on them.
Yeah, your name's on them.
right, and you know, fortunately, one of them won. That's great. We got one of them in semi one piece, which that car needs a lot of work too. But you know, like I said, I can't post all the blame on the drivers here. I got to look at the racetrack too and say, hey guys, you know, you need to step in and put a stop to this.
Yeah. Well,
Did our volume go out? I
But-
see somebody posting something about says can't hear us at all.
well, our volume's still up. See the green things on the other side? It is a little low. Yo, Doc. Oh, never mind.
Oh, yeah, that's working.
Yeah, that peaked it.
Well, I mean, as far as like the tire thing, I've been racing out there for years, and I haven't witnessed that myself, and that's always my first stop too. But you know, one thing I got to say is, anytime anybody runs as good as Sean does, the rumor mill's going to fly. You know, you're going to hear the cheater tires, the traction control, I don't know, make it up. You know, the flux capacitor. You know,
Exactly.
And anytime you're on a hot streak, you're going to hear it.
Yep.
You're going to hear it.
I've been on the other end of that stick.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you have. I mean, you've put plenty of winning cars together. You've been the guy with all the cheater stuff in the car, and it's not always.
He had a legend car
It's
with
not-
a V8 in it.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, you know, I personally, I worry about those two cars, the 9 car and the 69 car. I'm not real worried about the rest and what they do. I let them do their thing, and I do my part. But like I said, I really think the racetrack should have stepped in and at least had a talk with them. I really would have liked to have seen them race it out. I think it would have been real interesting if those two guys would have just went at it on the racetrack and raced it out for that championship.
And wouldn't have that been great? I mean, because they were two positions apart, 4 points apart.
Yep.
They were both tied in wins, both tied in seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And you get them
They were
out there.
tied back to fifth.
Turn them loose and race with, you know, like a spoiler like maybe me in the middle there, and wow, I mean, what an eventful, you know, night that could have been. Well, it was anyway, but what an eventful race it could have been.
Well, look at who else was in there as a spoiler too. You had Anthony Kincaid, that was right up top there.
Anthony Kincaid. Rusty's car was not
Rusty's
bad. We
car
got
was
Rusty's
good.
car straight.
Robbie Babb
Nothing was
wasn't
going.
too bad at the
Robbie
beginning.
Babb is never bad.
So Kyle Wood was right there in second.
There was a lot of potential for phenomenal
So
race there.
yeah, and there was some good racing in there besides that
Anthony had
incident.
me on my toes.
I want to tell you what.
Where did he come from?
I haven't a clue, but that one time we went down the front stretch on a restart, and I came off of 4 and stood on it, and I looked forward and I saw the 1, literally
The door.
the door,
It's
and
just
I backed
frozen
off. I'm
yaw.
like, he's not gonna make it.
I followed him around in practice, and I was just
Wow.
I was enjoying watching how sideways he ran sideways for 5 straight laps. The car never straightened out.
And he handles it so well.
Well,
That's the bad
he's
part.
a dirt guy, and you can do that. But what really amazed me Saturday night was that the thing was strong at the end of the race.
He had tires left. How I don't know.
That's my question. But
Not unless
He's-
not unless he's doing it by the rear end and
he's
it's
got
rotating that car.
He's
so
got
much.
some. That's a lot of rotation for the rear.
Well, that's a dirt car too.
When I got to the racetrack Saturday night, he was welding the drive shaft back together on the ground at the track. You know, he had wrecked, I guess, during qualifying or practice or something.
Broke a trailing arm bolt.
I mean, and he was welding the drive shaft back together at the racetrack, and I was like, man, that car will never make it 50 laps. And, you know, I know the rotor button or something went out in it, but I really didn't expect for the drive shaft to stay together. But, man, I tell you what, they did a heck of a job.
I didn't expect it to pull up next to me with 7 to go.
I didn't either. I was like, come on, Joe, I know you're taking it easy, but now, like, come on now.
There was no
Right.
easy there.
There
Let
was
me
no
tell
easy
you.
at that point.
You might have to straighten the gas pedal on that one. I was in it.
All right, well, you know, enough of the modified stuff because that's come and gone now. Back to this guy in the street class that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, you got in on that. We were talking about Randy Sample and Chris Roberts.
Yeah, I was standing right there when all that went down. And you know what? I've been to Langley probably 12, 15 times this year. And every time that I've been there, just about, I'd say a good majority of the time I've been there, this guy in this number 6 has either had words or gotten a fight or pushed somebody or went off, slam off, and just threw a temper tantrum or something. Again, I think the officials need to step in and calm him down a little bit. What he did on the front stretch was just uncalled for. You know, I know what you're thinking, Matt, because you're sitting there because you've seen me jump on people's hoods and stuff like that before too. But
Not Mike.
Well, yeah, but that was 10, 15 years ago. We were a lot younger. We've gotten wiser with age.
Well, they're younger at their point.
And they're at that age where we were, Mike.
yeah, well, and I mean he's aggressive.
Yep.
And that's cool, but you know, be aggressive on the track and don't jump up on the roof of some kid's car when he's celebrating his championship either. You know, whether he wrecked you or not, that's beside the point. Handle it outside somewhere. Don't do it in, you know, I mean, yeah, it was a good show and yeah, it was fun to watch, but you know what, the man's, you know, the one kid's grandmother got knocked over and she could have been hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a very bad situation. And, but like I said, that probably went a little too far in my book, but I like to see the guys rough it up, push and shove, but not on the front stretch on top of the cars and stuff.
Well, I thought it was okay up until they started grabbing each other and then they went WWE into that crowd. That's where I thought it went too far.
Exactly, and I have to agree with you there. You know, if they want to go out to the parking lot and settle it, then that's great.
Yep.
I still say we need to have outside the inspector's shed a small ring set up so that the drivers that are having a piss and moaning contest against each other put on oversized gloves after the race and just stroke it out till you're too damn tired to do anything. Then you'll be all right.
I would have loved that years ago.
I bet a bunch of them would still love it now. They could pay and get good money for those tickets.
You know, it's good to show emotion. It really is. But there's a time to do it and there's a time not to do it.
I agree.
You know, and I don't know. It helps put butts in the stands, but then in the other, you know, this is going to carry on until this weekend, where they're both going to be back out there again.
Right. And what do you think race number 1 of the 2011 season is going to be like in the modified class out of Langley next year?
Hopefully it's slowed, simmered down. Maybe.
It ought to be interesting. I think it'll be simmered down. It could be neither one of them come back. They're both talking about doing different things.
Right.
So, you know, it's going to be kind of, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll go up to Rolling Thunder Modifieds.
I'm sure you'll see some new cars out, and there'll be some
With Joe.
next year, and I just hope everybody plays nice. I mean, I like to see them get roughed up, push and bang, and stuff like that. But where it went to this year was a little too far, and I think it could have been stopped. But congratulations to Sean for doing a hell of a job, you know, and congratulations to Joe for winning as many times as he did in Van's car. And trust me, nobody knows except for me how many hours he put in at my shop working on those 2 race cars.
Oh, no doubt in my mind.
You know, Joe and I spending many a night there working on them, and his friend Mac. And,
Bold guy.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that guy sitting next to you, Matt. He's very knowledgeable. Him and I are a lot alike, and I told him that the other day because him and I think about the same way about race cars. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know if I just insulted you or not, but.
Well, we're winning races, so I'll go with that.
And I tell you what, they don't come no better than Joe Scarbrough, and hardest working guy in racing. Him and Mac, they do a lot together, and you see one, you see the other. I've really enjoyed having Joe and Mac and Rusty and Van and all the guys that work on that 69, those 9 cars at my shop this year. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed the little bit of sponsorship that I could give to them. I did all I could, and I look forward to doing it again next year. But really looking forward to having my hot rod out there next year. And
He's building a nice.
I know.
piece.
I was up there last Monday.
So I was late. I was sitting in it.
Oh, were you?
yeah, we was test fitting Joe. So hopefully we'll see a CMG chassis out there next year. And who knows? Who you might see in that thing. You might see Joe Scarbrough one week. You might see Rusty Wood one week. You might see Kyle Wood in 1 week. You might see Mike Waltney back in one. I don't know yet. So
I hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. So, but anyway, like I said, I just wanted to tell everybody that's listening that no better people than Joe Scarbrough and his whole crew, Van Paul Motorsports, all the guys at Van Paul Motorsports, everybody, to the wives, the girlfriends, everybody. I got associated with them at the beginning of the year, and it's been great. And they've treated me like one of their own, man. And I really appreciate all they've done for me, and appreciate all that Joe's done for me. And I look forward to working with him next year. Hopefully, we can get something together. And I'll let y'all get back to talking.
No, whoa. Hold on. Hold on here a second.
That was moving. I need a
I
hug.
liked it. That was good.
But you got left out of the mix.
Somebody got left out of this mix.
Well, I tell you what, I kind of helped a guy out on a Pro 6 this year. I didn't do much, but hopefully he'll. I don't know what he's going to do. He's a loose cannon. You got to watch it.
We'll be talking to you soon about that too, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, you never know what's around the corner. We got some people talking to us about building some cars over the winter, some street cars, grand stocks, stuff like that. So who knows, man? Who knows? We might see a couple CMG cars out there next year. I hope so. Anyway.
You know what? While I got you on the phone here, I'm going to ask this because I just found out the other day. What's the deal on stock car products? Have you heard any more on it?
It tanked.
Little birdie,
Doors.
a little friend of mine. I'm not mentioning any names, but he's sitting next to you. He called me the other day. Told me that a lot was going on down at Stock Car the other day. It's my understanding that they're officially closed, locks on the doors and all that good stuff. I don't know why. I don't know if the bank foreclosed on them or what happened, but it's really sad to see them go. Emmanuel started that thing years ago, and who has done more in this area for racing besides Stock Car Products and Rick Townsend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad, and Rick and Craig are still doing real well. So it's really sad to see Stock Car go. I've done plenty of business up there with them, and like I said, years ago, back when Jeff Bodine and all those guys were driving for him. I mean, it's just countless the stuff that they have done for the local racing.
It's an icon in the sport, really. Stock Car Products is,
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know they used to sell to almost all the Cup teams down in Charlotte.
When we raced up north back in the 80s
Yeah.
and the 90s, we had tons of Stock Car Products on our cars. It's just sad to see any business go under at this point in time because people really, that's their livelihoods, and my best goes out to the Cully family and all their employees, and I hope they all fare well in this terrible time, really.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's a victim of the economy, and it's nothing that I'm not going through. Being in business for myself, building cars too, and it's not all fun all the time. And like I said, it's just sad to see them go. I mean, they were much bigger and a whole lot bigger than I'll ever dream to be, and I can understand, being a small business that I am, the overhead that they had and employees that they had, and I know they hated to get rid of all those guys because it was like a family over there for a long time. And,
Yep.
really sad to see them go. I don't know what else I can say. I mean, they've been around forever, ever since I've been racing, and ever since I've ever known racing. So, just sad to see them go. Like I said, victim of the economy.
Yep. So, all right. Well, if you hear anything else, let me know.
Yeah, I will.
All right, Mike, we'll let you get out of here. We might even try to get out of here right on time tonight.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, I'll be talking to you here next week. Are you coming down this weekend?
I don't think I'm coming down this weekend. I think I'm going to hang out around the house a little bit this week. When racing season's over with, you got to catch up on your honeydews and your lovins and all that kind of stuff. So
It ended?
You really?
I'm still going.
I got 2 more weeks to go here. Come on, man.
Don't hang it up yet, Mike. There's a few more last races of the season for people out there. I'm sure you'll have something bent to fix.
Well, North Worthboro's coming up. I think is where y'all are heading, right?
Yeah, October 30th with the Rolling Thunder Tour.
Yeah, so good luck there, and I know you do good there. I hope you guys. I hope your stiff competition there, AJ, gets his car from Stock Car. I hope he gets him out of lockup and.
Yeah, that's a AJ Winstead and Scott Lawrence, and I have somebody else, I'm not sure, but of the modified world, their cars were in there. Well, AJ's car lived there. It was his normal housing for it, and then Scott Lawrence was in the process of, he tore his car up out at Langley, and they were transferring all the parts and pieces into a brand new stock car products chassis. And I guess the bank officials, sheriff's department, somebody came over and shut the place down on Monday. So it's been a very difficult situation for him. I mean, as soon as I got word, I started calling him up and telling him, guys, you got to get your stuff. And now I don't really know 100% what the situation is there, but that's difficult when a business closes the doors with somebody else's product in there.
Yeah. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can get it all out in time.
They should be able to. All they got to do is say, hey, ask these guys.
Well, I'm sure whoever put the locks on the door is the ones that got to go in there and say, yeah, this is their stuff. This was here to be worked on.
You have proof of ownership or something. I don't know how you do that with a race car. It's not like it's got a VIN number. You don't have a title for it. So.
It's going to have a name on it. I was getting ready to say it's going to have the name on the door.
Well, I guess that works for AJ, but they were building one for Lawrence, so.
Yeah. And so that's going to be the hard part for him if he's put money into it.
I'm sure.
Proof of payment.
I'm sure it'll work out, but the matter is how long. And I hate to see AJ miss a race, miss the North Wilkesboro, because that's going to be a big steam track. I think it's going to be his kind of place, and I do enjoy racing with AJ because he's fun. Yeah, he's 100% all the time. He's a great guy to run with.
He is wide open. I'll give you that. Yeah. So, all right, Michael, get off here. And,
I'll see you soon, buddy.
All right, guys. I'll see both of y'all soon.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you.
Okay.
See you later, Mike.
Later.
We tell the speaker.
Yep.
That's kind of funny. He didn't. Now I can laugh about it. He didn't condone about standing on the roof. I peeled him off a hood one night, beating him. Buck Gutsy's windshield after a bucket turned him into the wall.
Mike's very passionate about his feelings.
He is, and Mike's such a great guy.
But
he really is.
He's a great guy to work with. I mean, the things we went through with the 9 car and the 69 car working in his shop and trying to get things put back together in short order, in short time. This is the kind of situation that the best of buddies will be at each other's throats. And I really didn't know Mike all that well before this. And I'll tell you, Mike, his dad, my crew chief, all the guys from VP, we just got in there and it all just really blended and clicked. And Mike does beautiful work. It's a pleasure working with a fabricator of that ability because anything I can imagine he can make, and it really made a very good combination.
Yeah. He can make anything. He can fix anything. I mean, if you give him time and just have him look at it, he'll say, "Okay, we can do this."
Anything from bent rears to setting up the gears in them, full fabrication clips, name it. And he does it. It's beautiful. It's quick, and his prices are good too.
Yeah, prices are very reasonable.
He's not a gouger.
So, CMG Motorsports. I don't remember the number. CMG.com. You can go to the website. He does have his website.
He's got a website. It's Mike Waltney on Facebook. He's one of my friends. If you got to hunt him down there.
On there to his
Yep, he's there, and he's right there between. He's like halfway between Williamsburg and Richmond.
Yeah.
So it's actually I came from his shop, and with a slight exceeding of the speed limit, you can make it here in 42 minutes.
Yeah. I can make it about 50.
I made it from
MapQuest is 70.
MapQuest is 70.
Raceway to Centera down here in Hampton in 40 minutes.
Oh, I believe. I mean, we make it from the haul. With the hauler, we make it from his shop to Langley in about an hour.
So, yeah.
I've gone from Richmond International Raceway just down around the corner in 40 minutes. I was averaging 90.
That's boogie. Did anybody record that in writing for you? Somebody maybe in a uniform with a badge?
No.
That does cut the time down, too.
If I'd have been stopped, I had a guy that was with me. He'd come from Minnesota, and he was passing kidney stones, and the track said, you need to get him to a hospital.
That's a good reason to go fast.
So,
well, but there would be a little bit of the cop would have a little bit of a dilemma with that, I think.
Being that we didn't go to Richmond.
Being you didn't go to Richmond.
Right.
Well, because Hampton was the hometown. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's... I understand your
I think
point,
he'd have bought it.
But I don't think that's what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to be nice.
I did have a NASCAR license to show him I'm allowed to speed. Go
fast.
I can go fast, see?
That and the bumper sticker that says, I'm not tailgating, I'm drafting, goes really far with the state troopers.
If you're reading this, I'm leading.
Mike had sent me a text. I'm going to get into this conversation, so he was sitting there watching all night. He knew it.
I just left the shop. He said, "I'm going to call in. I can't let you have all the fun without me." So.
Oh yeah.
And he's got, he's usually pretty on spot with his,
Yeah.
Hey, all
he
you
doesn't
do is-
just say,
And he don't sugarcoat it.
yeah,
if
he
Mike
doesn't
wants to,
sugarcoat it.
Hey, we'll have him come down here and do a 15-minute segment of Let's Talk the Truth.
Oh, we can get Mike down here. I'll have to get him down
Well,
here this winter.
I see some people say, well, Sean did this, and some people say, Tom did this, but I think what it really comes down to, nobody really agrees that either one of them or any of these situations is right. And a lot of people wind up as innocent victims in there.
Yeah.
And with the talent that Thomas is and the talent that Sean is, I mean, collectively they've got, 20 championships? I think Sean's got 4, Thomas has got 8, 10, well, I don't know. He wins like 2 a year, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, he Rolled Thunder, he's done Mid-Atlantic Modified.
You would think at some point it would stop.
The term
I think,
bitter rivalry.
this might be a thought too, and I'm not going to. I know they're both-
Earnhardt and Waltrip went at it for a lot of years, didn't they? Now,
Yeah.
Well,
Earnhardt and
they
several.
yeah. Well,
Rusty Labonte.
yeah, all amazing talents that proceeded to attempt to kill each other.
They could be, they've done. Both of them have been doing
Crash
racing for a
Lansky, yeah.
long time,
And both very good at it.
and very good at it. They might be just bored. I mean, I don't want. I'm not trying to, but it's just like, hey, let's start this rivalry with this guy, and it's kind of added excitement for them. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
I'm
don't
sure,
think it was done intentionally.
I'm sure they've gotten excitement out of it.
But do you see?
I've got
do you
excitement
understand what I'm
watching it
saying?
in front of me in the mirror on
In the
YouTube.
back, yeah.
TM Racing Videos is excellent
But
for covering that
it's
stuff.
added. It's added some excitement to their racing.
Absolutely.
It's had to have.
Is it excitement you want?
Well, like you said, they've all got championships.
I mean, my excitement for me, the excitement that I like in a race is, when you go down and there's the white flags waving and you're coming off a 4 and there's sparks coming in the window because everybody's using, I want that inch, and you're glued together and they got to go to the photo and the lap counter to see who won the thing. That's the excitement that I strive for in a race. And when we get out of it, it's a high five and a hug. Man, that was fantastic. That gets my blood pumping.
Yep.
Not turning you around. Not being turned around.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, I don't know why they did it. Honestly, I don't know why this
They don't know.
entailed.
At this point in time, it's been going so long, they probably don't know why.
I don't
they
even
did it.
think they know.
I
Yeah,
hate to say this. Do you want to get one side of the story?
you want us to call
It's a
Sean.
phone call away.
You really want to call Sean, don't you?
It's up to the.
I'm free. You want to call him up? Yeah, that's a loaded question. Hi, Sean. How you doing? Well, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV with the family. So tell me, how did all this start?
I tell you what, call him. We'll chat. Joe and I'll chat a little bit more. Call him up. See if he wants to do this.
See if he wants to make any comments about the race.
See if he wants to make any comments.
Well, I have 2 questions. How did it start? And
That'll be your question.
and how do you make it stop?
That's
Actually,
okay, yeah. Get
skip
him on the phone.
Skip the first question. I don't even want to know how it started. How do you make it stop? How do we put this behind us and go back out and go back to
We
racing?
go for next year.
One of the best
No, I
races.
think we need to ask Sean, how did this start? Because nobody really knows.
All right, you guys are still watching. You're on the blog here.
I want to know.
Put your question. Put your questions in.
I don't want to be in the middle of that shit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The people that are on here, let us know. Should we ask him how does it start and how does it end? What should we ask him?
Inquiring minds want to know. What do you want to know? Is this thing on?
Wait, we got to give him time. There's some
Okay.
people typing, I think.
Yeah, like me.
I actually took typing in high school. I don't know why, but I ended up taking
It was an easy class, they said.
And
It was the
well,
easiest
that
D
could
I
have
ever
been.
got.
That could have been. I got a B.
Did you?
I did pretty good. I can still do it a little bit.
How do you turn the left shift key on this one? It took me like 20 minutes to learn how to make a capital letter on this
Right
thing.
there.
Well, it doesn't work on this one. I keep it with my thumb.
Oh, cancel. Shoot. Yeah, you got to use your thumbs. So you got to use your thumbs.
So Roger's back there. He's got Sean on the phone. He'll probably put him
Definitely
over here in a
ask
couple
how
minutes.
it started.
So what's your plan for next year? You got
I
your
don't know yet.
Pro 6. You're pondering a modified here. What's what
we
are
are
you doing?
pondering a modified. I think we are going to run Pro 6 again. We might get a modified and run 5-10 races.
Oh, good, good.
I want to be able to go to some other places. I'd really like to go up South Side. Maybe go do a couple of Rolling Thunder when they go to like South Boston or someplace like that.
And that's the biggest thing I love about the tour.
And I want to be able to do some stuff like that.
You know, the biggest thing I love about the tour is you get a track like Langley, and you come out there, first time in my life, somebody like yourself, you're not going to be Stinson Beluso. You're not.
Yeah.
They know that place inside and out.
Yeah.
They've been there forever.
Yeah.
I've been there for 4 years, and they're hell to beat. They're good. They're fast. They know that place inside and out. They'll probably beat me every week.
Unless they reckon.
Let's go to Orange County next week and see what happens.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the setup here. We've all got 25 laps of practice. Let her rip. Figure it out. And that's what's great about it. And I went back and forth with AJ on this stuff all year long. We had some fantastic battles. And then Cale Gale and Bubba Gale would get involved in it. And some tracks I'd clean up. Some tracks was AJ and some tracks was Gale. And it really made for a good mix. And then you get Trevor Edwards slips in there for a rookie win.
Yeah.
On a tough track, so
Yeah.
it was, but it mixes it up nice. It makes it interesting.
We're talking about it. That's what Saturday was all about. Was just getting some laps.
Let's
getting
talk
some
racing.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey, bud.
getting laps, is that what you call that?
You damn right. I was staying out of that mess, Bubba.
Wait, the team owner you got.
Oh, no, wait
Oh,
a
it's
second. We're not
starting
even
already.
going into that, all right?
Hey, I just came into the conversation. I heard you.
So,
have you been watching, Sean?
I'm sorry?
Have you been watching and listening tonight?
No, I just walked in the door.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, this is Joe. You realize that, right?
I do now. Hi, Joe.
How you doing, buddy? Congratulations on your championship, by the way.
It's a big win.
Saturday night has been a popular topic of discussion.
I'm sure it has.
And many questions. Can I go first?
You already rolled.
Can I go first?
You're
Or do you want to ask the other question?
No,
a lot of people want to know how this rivalry with you and Thomas got started. I want to know how do you make it stop. There's both questions, I guess, and loaded questions. Welcome home. Thanks for calling in.
No problem. How do you make it stop?
Yeah, and that's my big concern. How do you get out of this mess? Or does it just start again in April?
First lap.
What?
What's that?
Don't try and crash me on the first lap.
Well, Sean, when did this start? This started back probably April, May, beginning of the season. There were cheap shots going back and forth, and
Started in Thomas's first win. I really, really want to congratulate him on his first win. And I don't want to start anything. Certainly don't want to start anything more. And I think we need to let it all lie.
well, that's why my question was more of how do we make it stop at this point?
right.
I'm fine. I wasn't mad Saturday night, of course, until I got my car torn to pieces under caution. I don't know the answer to that question. Just let it die over the winter is probably the best thing. I think we're at, not that I think we're even, but I think that I'm willing to bow out of it and let it end now. How's that?
Oh, I think that's a great solution. Do you think that's going to work on both parties?
No, I don't.
So what do you think it takes to make that? Because, continuing the way it's going, in my opinion, I get along with both you guys. I've had great races with you and Thomas. I don't have any issues with anybody. I'm certainly not looking to get in the middle of this mess. I want to see this mess stop so there is no middle of it.
Oh, I agree. And, I think there's other influences that instigate it much worse than it is. There's a lot of people outside of the situation that instigate it. There's a lot of pressure on both of us from teams. As far as I'm concerned as a driver, truly, honestly, swear to God to you, I wanted Saturday night come down to whoever finished ahead of the other one in the race, won.
I thought it was going to be a great mix, as we were saying before, because you and Thomas were 2 positions apart, and you had several contenders. Myself, Rusty, Robbie Babb, Kyle. That could have gone.
Kincaid ended up being up there,
Kincaid, I
surprisingly.
keep forgetting Anthony.
And an awesome race.
It really had
the makings of being a kick-ass
a
race.
spectacular season finale, which, well, it was, but not the way I
not
hoped.
not the way anybody.
The way I wanted it either.
Right.
What could have stopped this earlier in the year? What could have made this?
All right. Here's the deal. There's Joe. You've raced with me,
Yeah.
and we've given each other plenty of room.
Sure. And we've gotten together. You've got the bad end of it. I've got the bad end of it. But it's all
And
racing.
certainly nothing, and even really with Thomas, nothing of it has been intentional. What was I going to say?
What could have stopped this earlier in the year?
Let me ask you this: Did the officials at any time intervene between you and Thomas? Because this has been a building rivalry.
Shane, they did, and they made it worse. Shane, in the middle of the twin races, brought us both into that little room in the back and tried to get us to kiss and make up. And at that point, during the twin races, it was over. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The difference is that Joe and I have raced together, and there's lots of give and take with both of us. We can race with each other. Joe's a little bit faster than me. He gets under me. He's got the spot. Oh, well. He's going to pass me. If I get under him, same deal. I've got the spot. I'm faster. With Thomas, there is none of that. None. Zero. Get under him, he will chop you off just as much as he could. That's happened time after time after time. And then very good, and I don't want to sound like I'm bashing on Thomas, but it's a difference in style. With me or with you or with most all the guys at Lang, there's a lot of give and take. With Thomas, there is no giving at all. Very, very prime example is when Rusty's boy,
Kyle.
Yeah, him and I were racing side by side behind Thomas one night, and Joe, you know my car. It doesn't restart. We have no motor. It kills us on restart.
Oh, I know. You bought our old motor, the one we deemed too slow.
It's off 100
and you're killing me with
horsepower.
it.
We dying of it. We know where we're at. Way off.
Yeah.
It's great for racing, but it kills me on the restarts. Anyways, so me and Kyle are racing side by side behind Thomas. And I've even got the in-car video. It's really cool because going down the straightaway, Thomas blocked him. Then he moved up and blocked me. And then he went down and blocked him. Came up and blocked both of us down the middle of the back straightaway. And we both hit him down the middle of the back straightaway because he was right smack in the middle, stopping both of us. There's no giving and taking. And that's what was getting frustrating for me.
So,
and
in a situation like that, you know, I mean, Thomas has got to do what he's got to do to try and maintain his position.
Absolutely.
But if you can get away with it, you can get away with it. That's where I feel, you know, a situation like that, that's where officiating needs to step in. That's where I think I'm yet to see a rolled up black flag pointed at anybody in a modified race.
Correct, and I agree.
Where's the warning?
Even be it with me. I mean,
where's the warning? Whether it's you doing it or me doing it, I mean, we've got a little bumper happy at times, you know.
But and I think I see where this is going, but and I want Sean to answer this. And you just said it. That's his style. Well, what was so wrong? And I know it frustrated you.
No, that's his style, but it also comes with what comes with it.
You aggressively block, I aggressively pass. And that's a quote from me.
Where we don't need that. I mean, if you're under somebody and they chop you off, they're only going to ask Kyle Busch, why did the same that he had with the 00 car, it was like word for word. It's like, that's the way he races. He's cut me off 100 times. I've let him go 100 times, and I'm not going to let him go no more.
Well, that makes sense.
Well,
but, you know, you can't argue with that.
No, and you can, and that's why my first question of how did it start? I didn't.
It started.
I didn't want to ask that question because it really doesn't matter how it started. What matters is
I agree with
where it is now
Yeah.
and how does it end.
All right, all of us here have raced, and in one level or the other, and we all know that the theory is if you get your fender alongside, the guy in front of you should not be chopping you off.
Correct.
The spotter should be telling him, He's there, and then the driver should stay up. If the driver decides to come across you, he takes his own car into his own hands at that point in time. Because you're not going to know if he's going to stay up or if he's going to come down on you.
Sure.
And theory is they should stay up so that you can complete your pass.
I might give you 1, maybe 2 tons because you don't know I'm there. But third time, you're going to know that I'm there.
Well, the first time I stick my nose in there and you come down, I'll back off. The second time,
The problem with
I'm
the
going to back
model,
off, and you're going to get a big punt in the next corner.
Yeah.
right?
The third time,
I still believe
it's
in
going
the
to be
3
worse than a
strikes.
punt.
So I'm going to give
well,
you.
that's the,
you
that's
know.
the third strike.
Yeah.
Teddy Christopher says the same thing. The first bump lets you know I'm there. The second bump lets you know I'm ready. If I need a third bump, you're not going to like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it's come down to. And the big problem is with these modifieds is it's not a late model. In a late model, you can just give somebody a little punt and slide them up the hill and get past them. Modifieds, you hit somebody in the back, they don't do nothing but go faster.
Yeah, they spread.
That or they go right to the wall.
Yeah, well,
Depending on the punt, yeah.
Yeah, depending. I mean, really, there's not enough tire there to hold it sideways. If you get turned, you're gonna hit something.
that's not totally true. Thomas and I are very good at saving the car, as we proved the last few weeks.
Listen, you both started racing when Noah unloaded you off the arcs.
That's
So
right.
you guys should know how to do this.
Thomas, giving him all the credit in the world, is a great race car driver.
Yeah.
Really has good car control. I feel like we're very equal. You, me, and him are very equal race car drivers. It all comes down to mindset. And like I said in the interview a few weeks ago, I had just had it. And in the twin races, and it was so obvious how much he was blocking me. And then I was under him, and my spotter's saying, "Stay in this time," all the way down the front straightaway. And he cut me off and cut my tire down. And then we had to come back to the field again, which, I love doing that. But,
It is kind of fun. As long as the car works.
I mean, the car's great. But,
Yeah.
it was that was it. And that's where the switch got flicked. And then the following race, of course, he tried to crash me in the first lap. Next race, and then I spun him. And they all complained that I don't get put to the back. Well, I was put to the back there. And if I do something on purpose, and they think I do it on purpose, I expect to go to the back. I have no problem with that at all. This past Saturday now, got to think of how it was going. Thomas tried hard to crash me on the first lap. Said he was going to crash me just the way he did. Told the announcer, told him he was going to do that. I didn't think it'd be the first lap. And I knew he was going to do that. And so I held on tight. Didn't expect the first lap, but it came. And I didn't even get mad. I was just determined to get back up there. And, Joe, you know this. We're going 100 miles an hour, and you're thinking the whole time. If you're a good driver, you're thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, I'm not upset. I'm not going to touch him. How am I going to pass him without even being close to him? So you got a game plan in your head. You're catching him very quickly. I went from last, seventh, in last 7 laps. And I'm catching him. He's in my window. I'm catching him really fast, and I'm planning on. I got to go around him on the outside. I got to go around him wide, and then the caution comes out. And we're all lined up. Now I got to start behind him. Now I'm even more upset that I got to start behind him because now I know the type of racing we're going to do. He's going to stack it up. He's going to slow it down. He's going to get everybody all over me, and then at some point, he's going to be in the middle of the turn, and he's not going to go, and I'm going to be flat on the throttle. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't go. I tromped on the throttle like I always do, run in the back of him. That was all there was to it. And if they had waited, I believe, well, in fact, I already know, if they had waited till 2 to go, like they always do to reline everybody up, I'm pretty sure I probably would have went to the back. I would not been happy about it because I know I didn't do it on purpose, but I know that they got a job to do too. So if I would have went to the back, it would have been fine. But then Thomas kind of lost it and crashed me. Under caution, which is something you know.
Well, no, I know, and my teammate got involved in that too, because when you and Thomas got together down there in 3 and 4, Rusty got the hard end of that. He met turn 4 hard enough to probably end that car, or cause it. I think it needs a right side and a clip now. I mean, it's pretty tore up.
And into that,
and I don't condone his actions, but I can understand his
Frustration.
his frustration at being a victim of somebody else's battle.
he was just as bad as Thomas on the first lap. Thomas knocked me up.
Well, actually, I did watch the clip of that.
Yep.
When Thomas knocked you up, it looked like you were up in the marbles hanging on for dear life.
Yep.
And as Rusty came to go by, you were starting to come back down in a groove. And if I'm not mistaken, you could see Rusty's left front tire lock up right before you guys made contact. It looked like he was really trying to avoid that.
And from inside the car, it sure felt like he was, so I didn't have a lot of heartache about it. But I don't want to see anybody tied up. And the unfortunate thing was, 2 weeks ago, I definitely spun Thomas on purpose. This week, definitely did not spin Thomas on purpose, and other people got caught up in it, and I know other people were upset about it. But to go back to your original thing, I want it. And I'm willing just to say, okay, I don't really think we're even, but I don't
Go
want
back to square zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and
It's a brand new year.
That's what I like to see. A brand new year. Let's not bring
Well,
let's not bring old hardships in there.
the bad thing is he's definitely going to be racing the tour, and there's a very good chance we will be running the tour also. but
What, the
That'll be a whole different story.
RTM or Southern Mod?
Southern Mod.
Oh,
totally different thing.
So.
That's a totally different deal. So I don't.
little luck, I'll join you. I have no idea what I'm doing next year. I know I'm racing with VP, and I don't know what Aftershocks plan is yet. We haven't had the team meeting yet. So
Yeah. Well, and I hope that things can get settled with them, because actually that's a bigger issue than Thomas's, believe it or not. Mostly because I care. The incident that they got them all upset was racing, and the end result was my fault. The start of it was racing. Certainly nothing was unintentional either way with that one big wreck. And if you go, I feel like if a driver goes 5 years and has one wreck, all the rest of them, there's nothing else in 5 years. Not even an issue. You got to believe that the guy wasn't trying to wreck you on purpose.
right.
But people don't take it that way.
Hey, Sean. Next week, and I'm going to throw this out, and I'm going to probably stick my foot in my mouth for this. Would you be willing to come on the show with you and Thomas?
No, because that'll be nothing but problems.
You sure?
And I don't mind. I don't mind doing it, but it would just turn into, a slug. I want it to end. Before you called me tonight, I had already told Terry that everybody has come up. Everybody has something to say about it, and it got so crazy nasty with fans on the internet.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get that going again.
Okay. We'll just let it die then.
And I understand, and I had no problem with really pumping it up and everything till it got to the extreme nasty end.
We haven't been pumping it up, but it's been a big topic.
We're just addressing the issue. Yeah.
And we were even talking about the Randy Sample, Chris Roberts deal.
And I can't even venture an opinion on that because I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, see, so, don't think we were trying to stir any trouble. We were just
I don't mean now, and I don't mean Langley was trying to stir any trouble. I believe that the track needs rivalries to be successful. I believe that's part of what's wrong with NASCAR overall. Everything's too...
Goody.
Yeah, too clean right now. And I got to blame myself for that in some venues some ways, because I try to portray the really clean driver, and I believe that might have hurt the sport a little bit. That's why Bowman Gray is so much more successful in their show and that kind of stuff. But then when it gets to the point where it got Saturday night, where people are losing cars and people could have got hurt.
You know what? I kind of got to disagree with you on that. The reason that Bowman Gray is so successful? Because they've been doing it continuously, and it has a history of racing at that track.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think it has anything to do. I think people would come out there if they had 5 wheelbarrows.
Well, no, I don't think they'd come out there if it was all clean and boring.
Well, I'm not saying it would be, clean and boring. It is exciting racing. It's a great place to see racing. It's a hard track to race.
Racing has been phenomenal at Langley this year.
It's been better,
Exactly.
and I think that's going to put more people in the stands, and it goes back to when I was saying heat races and different things to mix it up.
Yeah.
Problem with Langley is now you've got six. What do we count, Sean? 6 winners in the last 5 years in the modified division.
Exactly.
That's boring. Nobody wants to come out there and watch me or Sean win every week.
Overall, they were talking about this is the first year they had 19 different winners throughout all divisions,
and they started
and
spinning
that's
the wheels
the
and
most
inverting
that
fields
they've
and
ever
things
had.
like that. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that everything they've done good has been good this year, and they'll agree with this too because I already know that well. That has everything they did worked except for the mandatory double file restarts, and we need to do the cones in all the classes. And I think that puts thinking in, that puts strategy in, that puts balls in.
I've been screwed by that cone rule twice.
Yep.
But I will sit here and tell you that is the best thing
And-
as a driver and as a fan that there is.
And I've been killed by the double file restart all year
Yeah.
this year in the mandatory double file
Yep.
restart. And I think it's the worst thing is the mandatory one. When you have the cone, you control your own destiny.
Yep.
When
I
you
agree.
have the mandatory, it's just a crash fest. It's just a headache, a pain in the ass. Everybody bitches about it.
Well, the only reason my philosophy is on that is that nobody's used to it, and it was just okay, boom, and everybody hates it, so they're going to work against it, and I got to blame the drivers a little bit on that.
I agree. We all hate it, but
Yeah.
but I think the cone is just so much more superior because it puts more gaming into it.
The green 12 car in the Super Street won a race because of that cone rule.
Right. I mean, and you won't have that in the late model
And you wouldn't have that in a late model or a modified even.
because your second fastest guy is now on the outside ball.
Exactly.
Well, what do you got? You got the second place guy,
I like
third place guy for half a lap, trying to get down.
I like the idea of heats. And I'm sorry, and the INEX Legends did it, and they proved everybody wrong by it. But after you qualified, you went into a heat race.
Yeah, no, heat race, man, we don't need to do that, I think.
Well, hold on. But they inverted
Well, yeah.
that whole heat race. 15 cars.
You got to mix it, and this is what I said in the off season was, the guys that are racing, they're not paying their mortgages what they're racing. They're doing it because they love it.
Correct.
And I think there's a lot of cars out there sitting in garages collecting dust because they got frustrated being lapped and never having a shot at winning a race because they simply can't qualify. A guy that runs a 17.5 as his best lap is never going to be on the pole and never have a shot at winning a race.
Right.
Well,
If he gets up front in the heat race and takes that checkered flag down for the 8 or the 10 lap race, and he's got a nice checkered flag victory photo over his mantle plate, this
gonna
guy
make him-
won a race.
Exactly,
He won a race.
exactly.
It doesn't matter if it was 10 laps, 50, or 150. He won a race.
I want to tell you what a lot of places do in the Midwest. You have your two practices. They line your heat races up according to points. If you're first in the points, you're in the first heat. If you're second in the points, you're in the second heat. If there's enough cars, there might be a third heat race, third and and so forth and so forth.
Right.
But then they take and invert it.
Mix it. It should be a random. I mean, I'm not saying do it every week. You can do
hell
time
no.
trials most of the time.
Do invert every week. That way,
1 week invert, 1 week run heat races, mix it up.
Yeah.
Mix
Yeah,
it up.
yeah.
Give that other guy that's never going to win a race, that guy Robbie Babb, 25 years, won his first race this year. 25 years.
Yeah.
Who stays in it for 25 years? That's a dedicated individual. I got a lot of respect for him for that.
Yep.
But this guy should have had a checkered flag somewhere in those 25
ago.
years.
Yep. You agree, Sean?
Yep, I agree 100%. If I was the promoter, if I was the king, there would be no qualifying. The only place that qualifies in this lovely country of ours is our spoiled area.
NASCAR.
We'd either walk in and pull a pill.
NASCAR track. Riverhead runs heat races. That's
Yeah.
NASCAR. We
Well,
raced up there for years.
we're Southern.
No, I said
Southern. Oh,
qualifying.
Yeah.
it's NASCAR.
Now, hardly anybody just does straight up qualifying, except for this area.
The European qualifying was a great idea.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I liked it.
I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Sports car racing. Saluda
Yeah.
did it.
Still
Too.
qualifying.
Saluda does it too, yeah.
Still qualifying. It's still
We'll
putting
be
your
doing that at North Wilkesboro.
North Brooksville?
Mhm.
Yeah. You're going to like that place.
Yeah, big fast.
that they should do the points. And, I'm the points leader. Been for 5 years, 4 years, and
Your ass should start in the back every race then.
They should start you in the parking lot.
Damn right.
remember some of the rules they used to have? If you win twice, you went to the rear automatically.
8.
If you had 2 in a row, you couldn't start better than 8.
Because it happened to me in Grand Style.
Yeah.
now,
I put them to the rear.
races or drawing, or inverting the points is
Well,
great with me.
Some of the dirt races, if you get the pole, they give you a bonus challenge. It's an extra bonus if you can start from the back, come back up to the front. There's a bonus something or other. I never really participated with it.
When I went down to Dillon, I sat on the pole. First time I ever been to Dillon with the late model. Sat on the pole, and they're talking about they're going to give a bonus to before this. They're going to give a bonus to whoever starts on the pole. They're going to pay him an extra $500 or $1,000 if he can come from last and win the race. That is a very dumb thing to say to me.
Because I will start.
Because you're going to take it
In a heartbeat. And I took it, and we come back and finish third. But we couldn't quite get to the front.
People are going to take that gamble. When you say,
Our track is full of prima donnas.
Joe Gaeta did it a number of years ago in the late model. They put $1,000. He had so many poles. Was it Joe Gaeta?
No, they put a bounty on Mike Buffett one year.
Bounty on.
They put a bounty on Mike Buffkin. That's what it was.
Yeah,
If
well,
you
that's
beat him,
what-
you won like $2,000.
Yep.
Now, but you're also right. Joe Gaeta started, they put him to the rear, and the money kept getting added and added and added to the point it was $2,500 for him to start at the rear and make it to the front and win.
Win. Yep. And if he didn't win, it rolled over to the next race.
No, didn't even roll over, I don't even think it rolled over to the next race.
It did.
I think it was just that race only because we put 500 in.
Yeah, and I think Harold Cook put 1,000 in. Somebody
So
else did too.
it got up there, and I think he
Guys, and I'm one of them. They're almost all prima donnas.
Yeah. Well, I got to agree with you on that a little bit.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
None of them want to hurt their car. None of them want to pass anybody.
There's a solution to that.
Quali-
Don't crash. Double file restarts don't kill cars. Guys running over the top of other cars kill cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
they get crazy with themselves.
The smartest thing I've ever heard Butch Lassiter say, and I got to agree with this 100%. A rule has never wrecked a car.
that's right.
True.
But the rule puts people in bad positions.
Well, now that I got to give you that too.
Now
That's
also,
true too.
enforcement of rules need to be
What?
Well, that's I got
I
to back out of that one.
I'll
I'm
put
also
this to
a car
you,
club race
Sean.
director, and I'm going
If they had put you to the back sooner,
I better back out of that one.
I think none of that would have ever happened.
That's why I ain't speaking.
Yeah, I think I better shut up on that one.
Right now.
Well, listen. I believe that Butch does a fair job. I really do. Anybody that bitches about Butch claims that he does something wrong or screws it up all the time. Well, my contention is that's fine. If he screws it up all the time, he at least screws it up evenly for everybody all the time.
You know, that actually makes sense.
Say again?
That makes sense.
So you're saying he makes consistent calls? I'm going to be PC about that.
You know, okay, go ahead, Sean.
Well, see, the problem is with making calls is that they are balls and strikes, and it's all in how anybody looks at it. If you go, and you got to see it like with the rain racing and everything like that. So you got 20 people looking at the same thing and see totally different things.
Yeah, and you'll have 20 different opinions on it.
Right, and a prime example, not to kill myself, was that wreck the first week we had the new lane. And I know for fact exactly what I was thinking. What I was thinking and what I saw and what I saw on that videotape was exactly the way I felt. You ask somebody on the hurt team what happened, oh, you just crashed me. That's all there is to it.
You're always going to get that.
Yeah, you're always going to get that.
You're always going to get that.
Right. And it's like, did you go down on the bottom or not?
The perspectives of the people watching are amazing. I had an uncle worked on my dad's race team, and he'd be arguing that the wreck happened down the other end of the racetrack. Even it's fascinating how what people see.
Here's the thing that I have.
Best things. I think one of my best things is, even though I'm involved in it, I always try and look at it as objectively. I can't talk to them.
Exactly. Yeah. What happened there?
I can't.
Yeah.
Here's my problem, and Joe said something about calling a race consistently. Here's the problem with that. No two incidents are ever the same.
Correct. And it depends on who
That's
you get
true.
input. You might get your input from one official over in this corner, and then the next incident, which looks to somebody else the same, they might get their input from somebody else on the other side, and then the fans say, well, it's the same thing. Well, no, one guy saw this, and the other guy saw that, and
Yep.
has to say, go with what he was told.
Yep.
I mean, because everybody says, well, Butch is lying. Well, shoot, try and sit up there. I've done it. Try and sit up there.
Try, yeah, and I tell that to everybody. And there's many times on Sundays I was like, "Do my job. Let's see if you can do this." And I've never had a taker yet. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Nobody let this man get do it when he just got home.
Yeah, we're gonna let you go, Sean.
Yeah.
Wonderful having you on here. We're gonna let you go.
Call me.
Hey, congratulations again on your championship.
Yep.
bud.
Congrats, bud.
Take care, guys.
All right. Take care.
By the way, if you ever want to go to Moonstar Restaurant downtown Hampton, I'm telling him before he gets off,
Oh,
in
you
case
can
he wants
tell
some
him.
Chinese or Mexican food, tell him that you heard about it from Let's Talk Racing. They give you 10% off. Too late. He's already gone.
He's on his way.
Anyway,
How long is this show supposed to be?
usually an hour. We have yet to have it an hour.
Oh yeah, we have. We did one night.
When?
Moonstar Restaurant. Mention you heard about us on Let's Talk Racing, and they'll give you 10% off.
They do.
Moonstar Racing.
They do. American, Thai, Chinese, Mexican, Vietnamese.
An international restaurant, I guess you'd call it,
Basically,
right?
we call it international cuisine. In fact, we're going to go have some supper.
Or a
once we're
chef
done.
with a multiple personality disorder.
There you go. Now, I did call him and told him we're going to be heading there tonight.
Oh, great! Now he's going to cook me food.
Yeah.
You had
I'm
to bring
sure
that
it'll be.
up.
I'm sure it'll be
You had
delicious.
to bring that up. All right, are we done?
All right, like
Can
thank
we go
everybody
home?
for watching Let's Talk Racing. We'll see y'all next week. See ya.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Oh boy.